How do you get a new neg to start earning money quickly? Charlotte Jeffrey-Campbell, talk to me.
I think you've got to think about the two key elements of what you've got to give them knowledge to. Confident knowledge that they don't end you up in prison or annoy your client because they've made big mistakes. So we've got to give them those basics. We've got to give them an understanding of what we're here to do. How do we make money? What can't we say? What can we say? You've got to give them that. Once you've got that out of the way, a lot of it is learning on the job. But you've got to give them very clear guidance and very clear tools very quickly. But you also have to allow them to learn as well.
And
So
mistakes?
and make mistakes, yeah. But I suppose it's interesting because with Able Agent, I've had some new starters who've kind of been given the platform and told learn it before day one of their job. That's how flexible the tool is. That you can give it to anybody. But the problem is, without doing as well, it's just theory. So the whole point for me with a new starter is get them doing the basics exceptionally. So we've talked about, that registering a buyer on the mailing list. Teach them that and give them a very clear goal. Give them even printed documents to fill in. Give them a market appraisal form to fill in. If you don't normally as a company, that's fine, but you might want one for them because they need prompts. And we know that 40 times before you are competent doing something. So, you've got to register 40 buyers, you've got to book 40 market appraisals until you get that to be habit forming. So you've got to tell them the basics well. So handling a buyer inquiry, handling a vendor inquiry, handling a landlord inquiry, you have got to nail those down very, very quickly. Then you've got to think about your compliance element. So do they understand the laws in terms of data? Do they understand the laws in terms of Equality Act? You've got to get that done quickly. So really, you shouldn't have anybody on the phones for the first week of them joining you. You should get them researching the data, planning calls, maybe doing some of the jobs that might be easy, like emailing, out-of-date applicants or whatever it may be, but get them with the feel of the conversation. But you've got to give them those core before you let them loose, because I have no doubt the amount of business that can be lost by somebody doing it badly in that first week or 2 weeks is quite scary. But often the problem is that new starter's been dropped in because there's an emergency need and they're needing to go in there quickly. It's very tricky.
It's interesting that you turn the conversation round from trying to get them earning as opposed to stopping them losing.
Yes, yeah. It's both, isn't it? So it's I think the biggest risk with a new starter is the missed opportunities. So they have to not miss them and then grow. Yeah.
So basically, as a boss, allow some time aside. You can't just throw them in at the deep end.
No.
Train them, guide them. Probably don't let them loose for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Give them some great training.
Yeah.
Which then, when they do start picking the phone up, they will hopefully should get every opportunity under the sun.
And I think it's like listers, isn't it? How many times have you heard about the lister who's never actually been trained before they start going out? They've just done a couple of valuations with Nelly, and they go out to this appointment and they learn all the bad habits and they don't understand the bigger picture of the why we're doing it in the way we're doing it and that presentation skill. So I think with all of it, whether it's a new starter lister or somebody who's starting listing or a new starter negotiator or property manager, you have got to give them the core skills. But then you have to set a plan for them. You have to continue developing them in that first 6 to 12 months, because if you don't, they will leave. And the cost of starting a new starter is at least 3 months worth of income. It's going to be 3 months before they're generating. So it's a waste of yours and their time if you don't do it properly. Our staff turnover is still too high in our industry.
Thank you for your time today, Charlotte.
You're very welcome.